Data plays a critical role in today's day and age. Any information that a business has on its customers and the potential customers empowers the decision makers to make decisions based on facts, trends, and statistical numbers. With data, you can understand and improve business processes so as to reduce wasted money and time. Every business, whether big or small, feels the effects of waste. It depletes resources, squanders time, and ultimately impacts the bottom line. As an example, if you have no data on which your business processes are working, you may keep on losing clients and not know why. Similarly, if you do not have data points on your return on advertisement investment, you may keep on wasting money on channels that don't actually work for your business. But with so much data out there, you need to sift through the noise and get the right information so that you can make the best decisions about strategy and growth. Since the very role of data is to help you take better decisions, a good CRM tool is a must. So this brings us to the question, what is a CRM? CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. As its name suggests, CRM software is a tool to not only manage relationships with your customers and prospects, but to also ensure that every step of the interaction with your customers and prospects goes smoothly and efficiently in order to increase the overall profits. Why does every business need a CRM? For any business, the most valuable and important asset is their customers. In the absence of a proper tool, the details about the customers, who they are, how they have interacted with your organization, are spread out in many different places. You may be carrying that information in your brain, your email inbox, or even in the accountant's stack of invoices. By placing all this information in a central place, your business can organize contact data, segment customer data, have better forecasting, scale your sales processes, create better sales reports, and have one-click access to all the data and metrics. This naturally brings us to the question, which CRM tool should you choose? With the plethora of choices, there is no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to CRM. Having tried out 35 plus CRM tools, we finally zeroed in on a free tool called Hubspot. It comes in two flavors. It has a free version and it has a paid version. For majority of the businesses whom we consult with, a free version does just fine. In this video, I'll be walking you through the free version of Hubspot CRM, help you go through the tool, set up the tool, and then let you decide if this is the tool that can help you get to the next level or not. Hey guys, my name is Vishal Mehra. I'm a lead generation consultant and I help small and medium businesses scale up using the power of automation, marketing and sales, all focused with generating more leads. And CRM and automation tools form a very important part of what we consult our clients on. Take a look, see if HubSpot works for you or not. And if it is the tool for you, then go ahead, sign up. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and you can keep on using it. So let's jump onto the screen and let me show you what HubSpot is all about. So here we are on hubspot.com. This is where you need to come to set up your account. HubSpot has many options available. It has a free HubSpot CRM. It has a content management software hub. It has marketing hub, sales hub, and a service hub. Basically, it is an all-in-one solution. Once you get started with the free CRM, as and when your needs grow, you can also start growing with the CRM. So this makes it the ideal choice. There is no data migration needed. There is nothing you need to do. And even with the free plan, you have pretty robust processes and tools available at your disposal. So if you've never signed up for a CRM, HubSpot makes it rather easy. To get started, just press the Get HubSpot Free button and you'll be on your way with the sign up process. So we come here, once again, they check with you if you want a demo of Marketing Hub, Sales Hub. At this present moment, we only want to get started with the free CRM. So once we start the sign up process, it'll ask us to fill up our first name, last name, and email address. For those of you who are on G Suite or Gmail, it is easy to set up your account with a one-click process using Gmail. Now, if your business is not on G Suite as yet, it is an option that we thoroughly recommend. The advantage of being on G Suite is there is a plethora of tools that are developed, and they're all developed for G Suite or Gmail. Now, having a G Suite account is not an expensive affair. The accounts start for as little as $6 a month. If you are in India, you can get a deal where you can get it for about 125 rupees per user per month. And with that, you get 15 gigabytes of storage, online cloud, docs, slides, Excel sheets, sheet-like feature, and all that is built in, baked in into your account itself. So if you've never thought of shifting your email hosting to G Suite, give it a thought. It may be a great decision that you make by shifting. So however which ways you want to go ahead here, fill up the details, and once you get to the next screen, answer a few questions. I've already set up my account, so I'm going to sign in here, and I will see you once you have logged in onto the dashboard. So once you log into the dashboard, this is the screen that greets you. It just breaks it down. It tells you what is there on the platform. Now, you may also be greeted with a screen which gives you a walkthrough demo. In a perfect world, I would definitely recommend you to take a look at that demo. The demo is a great way to get acquainted with the software. However, since I am not going to be looking at the demo, I'm going to tell you where we are going to start. And once you've looked at the demo, this is what you could do. So you come to this wheel-like icon, which is the settings tab, and you get started with the settings. Here you can update your basic info, your preferred language, your country, that is your date and number format, and your phone number. It also lets you define what access level do you want to grant somebody. So let's say you want to outsource the work of setting it up to somebody in your organization. And you can choose what role you want to give this, or what role you want to give this person. You can retain the super admin role for yourself and give a little lower level role to this person. At the same time, you can also come here and set up your email signature. Now, HubSpot has a built-in email solution which integrates with your G Suite account or Google account or your IMAP account. So anytime you send any email from the system, this is going to be your default signature that you're going to use. You can create your signature with images and hyperlinks, or if you have your signature available to you in a HTML format, you can paste the raw HTML right here. Once you have set up your signature, you can then move down to the next level. Now, notifications is important to configure for you because notifications tell you when you have your next meeting. So let's say you've set up a meeting, you've set up a task. Now, how should the system remind you? It will email you, but it can also give you a desktop prompt. So that's why you have these things like pop-ups and browser notifications. To get the most out of the CRM, I always recommend to my clients to enable pop-ups and browser notifications because this way you never miss a task or miss an appointment. HubSpot also integrates and behaves nicely with a lot of other apps. We will talk about these apps when we get to the marketplace, which is this icon right here, but we'll get to it a little later in the video. In terms of security, if you are or if your team is using computers where you don't have your own personal computers and they have shared access, then you can set up a two-factor authentication. If not, well, we haven't set it up for our usage, but a lot of our clients have. And it's also a good way to make sure that your data remains private. Nobody can access it. Coming to your account defaults, this is where you can set up your time zone, the language, the date and number format, and you have the GDPR rules here. Now, GDPR rules are the General Data Protection Regulation, which is applicable in the European Union. If you have business where you interact with clients from the EU, our recommendation is to check it so that you don't end up sending any spam to anybody. However, if you are not particularly bothered by it, then you can uncheck it and leave it like that. Checking this ensures that before you can send out any marketing email, you have to uncheck the box and make sure that you're doing the right thing. and which I'll show you a little later. You can also set up your branding. You can set up your company's name, your domain, your address. You can also come and upload your logo. You can also set up your brand colors. The brand colors work rather simple. You pick up the hexa code and you just input the hexa code for your primary and secondary colors and for your accent colors. Once you've done all this, press save and move down to the conversations. Now, conversations, what we are interested in here at this moment is what is called the inboxes. So what we are interested in here is connecting a channel. What does a channel mean? A channel is how you want to get the emails into your, how you want to get the messages into your team inbox. See, this is a team inbox. That means it's a shared inbox. And it works great if you have info@mycompany.com email address or sales@mycompany.com email address. Then this works great. You can set up a shared inbox account and everybody who is a part of this inbox will have access to the messages as they come in. On the other hand, you also have the opportunity to set up a chatbot right in here. So HubSpot gives you multiple options. HubSpot lets you connect to your clients with a Facebook Messenger. If the work you do, if in your business, a lot of your clients are on Facebook and use Messenger, then we recommend setting up the Facebook Messenger using the HubSpot option. That way, all the data that you get is going to stay within the CRM system. You can also set up a chatbot like the one we had when we were on the welcome screen. They call it the Hubbot. You can set up a similar chatbot, or you can just set up a team email. To set up a team email, it wants to confirm that this is a shared account or is this a personal account. The minute you press it's a personal account, it would give you a prompt to tell you that this is not recommended. However, in case of a solopreneur and you're the only person who's going to be accessing it, you can go ahead and do that. If not, if you have a sales or an info ID which is monitored by somebody else, we recommend going ahead with a shared account. HubSpot is great that it lets you integrate with G Suite or Gmail, Office 365, or any other IMAP email address. That means if you have set up your email hosting on your website domain, you can, using your IMAP address, still go ahead and configure the team inbox. We will use the Gmail account here. And once we use it, it'll need some basic permissions. Once it gets the permissions, it'll take us to the next step where it'll ask for a few more details. Now, these details are important for it to configure because it needs to know who's going to be using it. How do you want the look and feel of this to be? So let's say you have a big team and you want only the company name to appear in any team inbox email that is sent out. You can set it up right here. So it'll only show the company name. If you choose the agent and the company name, it'll give the agent name, and this will be dependent on a user that you create and the username. If you are using the option of only a company name, you can normally recommend it to enable a team signature. Because what happens then is there is a complete uniformity that is maintained and you can add the team signature as you go along. I'm not going to set it up, but yes, I've shown you how you can do it here. The next detail is how do you want to treat these conversations? You cannot automatically assign conversations that come in the free plan. That's a paid feature. The minute you try and press it, it will bring up a prompt and ask you to upgrade to the Sales Hub Starter. In the early stages, if you are just starting up with a CRM, you don't need to do this. At a later stage, to make it a little bit more efficient and time saving, you could upgrade to the $50 HubSpot starter plan. And in that case, you can come back here and configure it. But what you can do here is it asks you a question whether you want to treat the incoming conversations as support tickets. That means log all the new conversations that come into this channel as tickets. Let's say you have a help desk and you have an email address which is being used as a team email address, and you want that every time somebody emails your help@mycompany domain, a support ticket is created. Check this on. Connect and finish it. It'll ask you at this stage if you want to connect another channel. So let's say you want to connect your Facebook Messenger or your chatbot on your website. You could do that, or you could just press the view messages in the inbox, which in this case would take us to the inbox here. Let's go back to the settings. We have a few more things we need to take care of. Now, the other thing it has is what is called cookies. If you are using HubSpot and your website is up and running, you do not need to put in a separate cookie consent policy. You can do that from within HubSpot. See, HubSpot has a tracking code which it would eventually tell you to install on your domain. And every time a new visitor comes in, HubSpot is tracking where they're coming from. And the cookie consent can also come from then HubSpot. What that does for you is you've got one tracking code which is taking care of everything. So every time an additional code loads up, it slows down your website by a few microseconds. Now, on the whole, it doesn't sound much, but when you have a lot of tracking codes enabled, it can mean, a delay of up to about a second when the website loads. And ideally, they say that the website should load up within 3 to 5 seconds. So every microsecond, every millisecond you save is a good idea. So once again, when it comes to the setting up the notification for the cookie or your cookie policy, it asks you what color you want to use, whether you want it as a top banner or a bottom banner. This is how it will come up on your website. So it's a good idea to set it up. And if you want to remove the code, if you want to set up the code, this is the code to remove the cookies. You will also get a code to set it up. So if somebody revokes the cookie consent, this is the code that you would put in. It will add a remove cookies button so that the users can revoke the cookie consent at any time. Now, when you come to import and export, this is where you can import your data or export your data. HubSpot lets you bring any data you have into the system, and it at the same time also lets you export anything you want from the system. I would be careful whom I give permissions to access this feature. It is normally something that should be limited to the super admins. Coming next to the integrations, what we are currently interested in is the email integration. We've already set up our shared inbox. Now, HubSpot lets you connect your own inbox as well. So let's say you have a team of people who have a shared inbox and they also have their own inbox. It'll be a great idea if they could connect their inbox here as well, because every time an email comes into HubSpot, it adds up to your database, it adds up to your contact base. So it's a great idea to always connect your inbox in it. When you go to connect an inbox, you can again choose whether you want to use the Gmail or the Google G Suite or Office 365 or whatever IMAP service provider you have. And it will not let you connect the shared inbox. If I try to connect the shared inbox here, it will warn me straight away. It'll go through the process, but it'll come back with a warning. It tells you straight away, sorry, HubSpot couldn't connect to your inbox. This email address is already connected as a shared inbox. What you should do here ideally is you should connect your own email inbox, or your team members should connect their own inbox. Now, once you have done this, we are basically done with the first part of what we have to do here. From here, we need to move and set up our other properties. Now, we will go through with all these, but we will start with contacts. So once we're in the contacts, let's go and create a contact. When we go to create a contact, let's fill in the details. Now, the job title is not mandatory to be filled in at this point. The phone number is also not mandatory. The lead status is also not mandatory. But since I had enabled the GDPR field, it is a mandatory field now. So legal basis for processing contact data. GDPR has two parts to it. One is, how is the data going to be stored? The permissions you have to email the person. So in this case, I need to check here and tell them why am I, or what is the right that I have to store this data. Once I give it the permissions, it'll let me store the data. And the minute it stores it, it'll open it up. So this is a pretty interesting section that you see here. Every detail, every interaction you had with your client, once you start recording these, would become visible in front of this activity field. So if you would have given a company name, this would become applicable here. If you have any ongoing deals with these people, it would be here. Any tickets created would be here. Anything you've emailed, any attachments would all come up here. Any marketing lists they're a part of would also come up here. If your business has a list of resources that is used by your salespeople or your service reps, these could be made here. But Playbooks is not a part of the free plan. This is a part of the paid plan. So this could all come up here. Now, just going through these here and how useful they are. Any notes you take when you have a telephone call, or when you do a telephone call or a meeting with your client, can be added here. Now, the good thing about the notes is that not only can you add what you've discussed about, you can also create a follow-up task here. So let's say you have had a meeting, you have had your discussion. Now you need to follow up with your clients in a week's time or set up a custom date. You need to follow up with a client on a particular date. You can set it up and you can then save it. Once you've saved it, this will automatically get saved under the tasks. All the emails that you have sent and received with this particular client would start logging in here in this field. So at one glance, you would know all the communication that has taken place between your organization and this client. It doesn't matter who's communicated with the client. Every single conversation is going to be logged here automatically. HubSpot also gives you the options of integrating your CRM with VoIP call providers. If you happen to be in one of the countries which are serviced by these service providers, you can start logging in calls and even recordings if you want into the CRM. Then we have a tasks section. So if you didn't create a task through the notes, if you just want to create a task otherwise, you can come and create a task here. And you can actually go into minute details when you are creating a task here. Not only can you write the notes and the follow-up time, you can assign it a priority, and you can also assign it to your team members, or you can assign it to somebody else who is a part of the organization. And similarly, if you have a part of your team who is working on something and they get an escalation and they want it to be assigned to you, they can assign it here directly and it will automatically show up in your tasks, which is a great thing to do. There are very few tools which offer you so much of options and so many choices. Now, when it comes to meetings, it also lets you create meetings. And the good thing about HubSpot is that it integrates with both Office 365 and Google Calendar. So any meeting, once you have linked your accounts, any meeting you create here will automatically get synced with your Google Calendar as well. Now, before we move to the next step, we need to go to view all the properties. Now, I want you to create a custom property here because there's certain actions that we can do, and having a custom property is very helpful. So HubSpot by default comes with a lot of properties. But if you wanted to add any custom property which is native to only your organization, your business, you can do that here. Now, the property that I want to create, I want to call it a tag. This is for segmentation. Now, there are many ways you can segment your client data. You can segment it based on your product. You can segment it based on your city. You can segment it based on any criteria that you define yourself. However, I choose to set up a thing called tag. So I put in tags, and then I'll show you how later, using the same segmentation process, you can build up very robust marketing lists. So giving a few basic information, this is a contact property. It is going to be a part of the contact information. We are going to call it tag, and the description is tag again. Select the field type. This is going to be a single line text. And yes, show it in forms as well. And we create it. So once it says the tag has been created, now we can go back and customize a few more details. So now that we are on the contact, you see we can't see the tag just yet. So what we need to do is we will need to access our default properties. So we come here to set default properties, and then we will go and add tags and make it a default property here. So remember, you don't have to use tags. You can use a city as a default property. You can use a product name as a default property. So anything which works for you, you can make it a default property. Once you have set your default properties, do remember to save that information. Once you've saved it, we can then move back to this sheet here. Now what I want to do is I want to refresh this page and get the tag that I've set as a contact property to come and show up here. Now you can play around with what you want to see first, what you want to see later. So even a granular control on how you want data to be visible can be done here. So when we set up something, we like to keep our tags and cities a little before the contact owner and when we've last contacted them, and what is the lead status. So for us, these are the important properties, and these we always set up as default. Now, if you go back to the contacts, you would see that one additional property has shown up, or two additional properties have shown up. Now, as I said, this is extremely important from the point of segmentation. And if you've not done so, you should have as many criteria as possible to segment your data. The more granular you can segment it, the better your marketing would be. So tag and city have shown up. Now, I'm not going to just fill it in just yet, but I'm going to fill it in a minute, but I want to show you something else. Once we are done adding the tags, I want you to actually go and access the feature called lists. HubSpot Free comes with a basic marketing plan. So if you are a business which is just starting out, a solopreneur or a small business, and you don't have a huge data list, you can send up to about 2,000 emails per month free using HubSpot CRM itself. These are marketing emails. The advantage is you do not need to move to a third-party provider. You can get all this for free. However, if your database is bigger, you're migrating all the data across, but you do not wish to pay the charges that HubSpot is going to ask for marketing, you can send this data to third-party email marketing solutions as well. In either cases, we need to set up lists. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come here and create a list. So let's set up a list here. We'll come here, create a list. It'll ask us whether we want it to be a contact-based list or a company-based list. Let's say you are prospecting a client where you have 20 people in a company and you want to create a list of these contacts who are based on the company. You can come here and choose the company-based list. For most of your work, however, you will be needing a contact-based list. Now, it gives us two options, an active list or a static list. The difference between the two is the active list is automatically created. Every member that meets the criteria that you define, they automatically get added to the active list. So the records will join the list when they meet the criteria and leave the list when they no longer meet the criteria without any intervention from your side. Static list, on the other hand, is only for the members who meet a certain criteria at the time of creating the list. We want an active list here. We're going to call our list, you can give it any name. Please give it a meaningful name for your site so that you can remember it. Our filtering type would be contact properties. In my case, I'm going to use a tag. Remember, I told you that I prefer to work with tags, but you can choose any of this criteria here. There is multiple criteria that you can choose here. So active list is tag, and the tag should read sales. So I have created my filter which says that the tag has to meet sales. Now, if you want to go into a microcontrol, you can add another layer to it. Let's say you want it to be sales and you want it to be in a particular city. So you can go here again, go into contact properties and type in city. And then you have to define which city do you want it to be is equal to which city do you want it to be. Now, I don't want to set up a dual tag, but if you want, you can set it up like that. If you don't know the city and you just want to have a fact here that you've put in a city and the city should just be known, you can set that up. So that means as long as the city field has been filled in and the tag is sales, they will become a part of this list. I just want to use tag is sales right now. So we'll do this and we'll save the list. Remember to please press save before you exit here. Now this says that the list is being processed. Now how does this work? Now if we go back to our contact, that one contact that we have created, okay, it will not show anything because it is showing us the list of demos. If that happens to you, come to more filters and remove all the filters. So now you come here, we have the contact back. Once we have this contact and we go and add the tag here, and the tag that we had set was sales. Once we add this tag here and save it and go back to the list, you will see that this contact has already been added to the sales list. So let's say you were doing a campaign where you wanted to send a lead magnet to somebody who signs up. Now, lead magnets are great ways to get new leads to join your funnel, your marketing funnel. So let's say you were doing a lead magnet and you wanted that there is a certain automation rule that if this person enters via this form, and then we have to email him this thing. You can all set it up using the active list and it'll work like a charm. So once we added the tag, you saw that the client was already added or the list was already updated. Had this been a demo list, had this been a static list, this would not have happened. So that's what we can do with the contact section. Now going to conversations. Now conversations is where we have the shared inbox. So once you come into the shared inbox, you would see that there are no conversations. Since no email has come in, there are no conversations here. When the emails initially arrive, they'll all arrive in the filtered section. That's because there is no record associated with these emails and they will not become a part of all conversations. They'll be filtered. That means by default, HubSpot treats them as spam. So once you select a conversation and you mark it as not spam, then it'll move to your all conversations. And then from there, you can go ahead and assign it to any of your team members. Then you have things like chat flows. Now, remember I told you that you can use HubSpot for creating a chat flow, whether you want it to be a bot based or a Facebook Messenger based. This is where you can set it up. So if you want to set it up for your website, you can come here and tinker around and create your own bot capable of answering the questions that you feed it, or you can do the same thing with a Facebook Messenger. My recommendation to my clients when we talk about a bot is, if you're in the retail side of the business where a lot of your clients are going to be on social media and it's okay to communicate on social media, use a Facebook Messenger. However, if you are on the B2B side of the business, use a bot. That is a better option. That brings us down to snippets. Now, snippets are short replies. We have one created here. We're going to delete that and create a fresh one. So what a snippet does is, a snippet lets you prepare short answers that are standard answers given by your email or given on your email. So let's say a client writes to you and you have to acknowledge that email that yes, we've received this, we've received the ticket. Let's say it's a help desk. We've received the ticket and we'll get back to you. So what you can do here is you can come set it up once, and every time you have to send a reply, you can just type the snippet code and automatically the reply would be shot out. So it lets you customize it. It lets you personalize it, and that can be done using the first name. Remember, this would enter in your inbox, and from there, once you have unmarked it as spam, it'll become a contact. Your people can create a contact right there, and then from there itself, they can send the email revert using the snippet. So let's say this was your email. It's already done. Now what you need to do is you need to give it a shortcut name. In this case, I want to call it just thank and make sure it's all small, and I save snippet. Now how this would work is, let's say I got an email from somebody. So we have none, so we'll create an email and show it to you. So let's say you got an email from this contact. He's raised a ticket, you want to revert back to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to use by default an email and we're going to write back. Now, I need to give here one more legal basis of why I'm contacting this person. So in this case, I'm going to write client approval given. So basically HubSpot is just making sure that you're not sending an email to somebody who doesn't want to hear from you. Now this happens if you put in the GDPR compliance. If you've not put in a GDPR compliance, all these options will not show up. Now I don't want to have all this here. I don't want to keep this here. I don't want to be using this sent from edit it with HubSpot. So I don't want to use this. So let's go here and remove link, come here and remove link, remove link. And I don't need to do anything else now. I just, let's say this came with an email automatically. So all you have to do is come here, press the pound key and start typing. The minute you press the pound key, it is automatically going to show you the snippets that you have saved. The only restriction with the free version is that we get 5 snippets. So it automatically picked up the first name and it has picked up the email, and all I need to do is press send or send later, and at the same time you can create a task to be followed up. So let's say this is something which needs to be followed up. you can set a task, set a time, and just send it out. Once you press send, it'll automatically create a task, and then your people can go and assign it to the right person. So that's how snippets work. Similarly, we have templates. Again, the same restriction. We're allowed 5 templates, and it starts with a sample template, which we don't really need. And we can go here and start with a new template. Now, good thing about HubSpot is HubSpot comes with a very robust gallery. You can choose if you have any particular email that you need, or if you go into the template library and see something you like, you can actually go ahead and start creating a template from it. How we recommend you use templates is to, let's say you have guides that you sent out, or you have your frequently asked questions you sent out. These would be great options to have as templates. You can create them once and you can keep on sharing it. So that is what we get under the template section. When we come under the marketing section, we have 3 things that are available to us. One is the ads. Now, how do ads work? See, as a free tool, HubSpot lets you also connect up to 2 accounts. So you can either connect Facebook and Google Ads, or Facebook and LinkedIn, or LinkedIn and Google Ads, or whatever works for you. If you run Google Ads, if your business demands that you run advertisements on Google, then connecting this is a great idea, because you can get a snapshot of how your ads are performing all within the same dashboard. And as it says, it includes ads placed on all Google Search, Display, YouTube, and Google Shopping. However, it does not include Google Smart Campaigns. Now, if you are running ads on Facebook, especially if you're in retail business, it's a great idea to connect Facebook, and it also works with Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. If you are into the B2B business, then you can also link in your LinkedIn account with this. So once you do that, you can start syncing the leads, and that is again a great idea. So you know exactly as the leads come in, they'll start coming into your CRM directly. So that's how the ads work. Then you have the email option. Now, email option is the marketing emails. So let's say you want to send out an email, and as I told you that you are permitted 2,000 emails to be sent out using HubSpot free tool. So 2,000 emails is a lot. If you have 200 clients, that's 10 emails a month. And usual recommended time or recommended frequency to email is 1 email a week, unless and until you are in a product which is, retail and needs a constant push. In B2B, 1 email a week is also a lot. So if you had 500 clients in retail and you were sending them 1 email a week, HubSpot would still suffice for you. And here you can come and you can create your own emails. You've got a pretty robust gallery that you are again being offered, and you can choose. It has a drag and drop editor. You can choose how you want the layouts to look like. You can come here, you want a 2-section layout, a 3-section layout, a 1/3, 2/3 layout for a photograph, or for text. So whatever you want, you can just come here, create your email, set it up, fill in the details, how you want to send it. Now, usually it's a good idea to personalize your emails. If your contact field has been filled up properly and you have the first name, see, when you start addressing people by their first name, or if your business demands that you address them by the last name, when you start addressing people by their name, your open rates jump up a lot. So personalize, it's always a good idea. Adding a smiley is also a good idea, but personalizing is the best thing you can do. And once you're done with the mail, you can send or schedule it. One more thing, they have a feature called A/B testing, which is not available in the free plan. A/B testing means you can send, this is normally applicable for bigger lists. You can send 2 variations of the same email and see which one performs better. Let's say you tweak the subject line and you see which one performs better. And the one that performs better, has a higher open rate or higher click-through rate that you can define, will be the one that will be sent to the balance audience. Now, this works very well if you have a large database. Small database, it usually doesn't work well. Once you have grown your database to a couple of thousand, this option is a godsend. And then lastly, you can come here and select it, and you can send it or you can schedule it. So that's how your ads and email works. Now, we also have landing pages in social, but these are blocked. They're only available in the paid versions. And the last thing you have is forms. So if your website is using lead capture forms, then it is a great idea to build them up in HubSpot itself. You don't need a third-party form builder. You can use HubSpot forms, and they have multiple options available for you. They have a form that can be embedded into your web page on a standalone page. It can be a pop-up which can be triggered on an exit. It can be a drop-down banner kind of a form. So whatever you want, the forms are there. So that's another place where you can save money and you don't need to pay for any plugins by using the HubSpot forms. The only downside of using the HubSpot forms is that it comes with a branding of HubSpot. Now this brings us to the next one, which is the sales section. Now here again, we have 4 features that are available to us. The most important one in this is the deals one. Now deals is where we build our pipelines. Every business has a flow that it follows. You could have a flow which is suited to your business. So let's say you get an email received, email replied, meeting scheduled, or a call booked. Whatever your process is, whatever workflow your company follows, you can have it set up here. Once again, with the free plan, you get only one dashboard. So as a solopreneur or as a small business, configure this to your liking. To configure it, you come to sales pipeline and you press edit pipelines. Now you can add a stage, delete a stage, give it a probability. What is this probability going to look like? Or if you don't have so many stages and you want to simply delete one, you can just press delete and that's gone. But do remember to save it. Once you've done that, your stages have been customized. If your first stage is, you say email received should be my first stage, you can set it up. You have control over everything you do. If you go back to our deals now, you will see that the first stage has changed to email received. Then the next one is qualified to buy. So again, it's totally customizable. And once you set up a deal, let's say we create a deal here, and it is in AB. It's in the sales pipeline. We're going to put in a hypothetical value. If you don't have a hypothetical value at this stage, you just put in 0 and you kind of set it up. Once you've set it up here, it is automatically going to open up, and it says it's a 0 rupee contract for ABCD, and this is what it is. Now, it has not been associated with any contact as yet. So I can come here, I can associate it with an existing contact. If I know the contact's name details, of course, I can associate it with a particular contact. Now, in this case, all this data now is talking to each other. So if I was to go into contacts, the same contact now has a deal associated with it. And again, at one glance, we can see what is the activity that has happened here. A deal has been created. Again, the entire thing works and talks to each other. Now, deals is also a great way for you to get an overview of what your pipeline looks like. Especially for companies that rely on marketing. You know the forecast, how the forecast is looking. Depending upon which of your months are leaner, where you can increase your spend, all that insight is available to you from the deals, provided your teams use it and you use it. We have used it in the past, and trust me, this has given us a clear guideline on whether we are going to meet the targets or we are not going to meet the targets for our clients. And it has helped us to then change our focus so that whatever we did was more balanced and more data driven. So yes, this is where the data comes into play here. Then it also has the option of tasks. If you set up any tasks, they'll start showing up here. So if you've assigned any tasks for any of your team members, when they come here, they'll start seeing it. And from here, they can then follow up and do whatever needs to be done. Similarly, we have documents, another section for creating documents which can be used on a regular basis. This could be PDF, PowerPoints, WordPress. So let's say your company profile is your document. And again, up to 5 documents can be stored here so that these can be sent seamlessly. And lastly, we have meetings. Now, meetings is rather interesting. When you come to meetings, you'll be greeted with a default link here. It'll ask you to reconnect or connect your calendar. You don't have to if you don't want to, But in my case, I had connected it and disconnected it, so it wants me to reconnect. But how does this work really? So it says, how do you want to set up the meeting? First and foremost, you can configure every part of it. You can put in your photograph here. You can use an image. You can set up a name. You can set up a headline. What do you want it to be? You could give it a meeting name. Let's say I want to call it lead generation consulting. How long do I want somebody to call me for? In my case, if it's less than 30 minutes, it's not worth it for me because it takes us 30 minutes at least to get started. You know what? I don't even want 30 minutes. I want minimum 1 hour, or I want it to be for 1 hour and 30 minutes. So these are the only two options I want to have here. So if somebody wants to set up a meeting with me, it should be 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes. Your business needs may be different. You can set up whatever you want here, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Then the configuration. So here you can define where the meeting will take place. If there is a dial-in number they should call. So let's say you have a G Suite. You have your Google Meet, which comes with it. You can set that up, or you can set up the Zoom account. You can set up the subject that is going to be there in the calendar invite, because this will automatically send a calendar invite to the other person. How do you want this to work? Now, since I'm in India, it has automatically picked up my time zone. I can define the hours I work, and I can also define how do I want my calendar to be opened up. The market that we are in, it works very well if we have this week and the next week open up. Your market could be different. You could set up 3 weeks. That means the first available date on your calendar would be 3 weeks from today. As I said, in our market, 1 week, this week and the next week works well. So that's what we set up. Now, what is the minimum notice time that you need if a last minute or if a meeting comes in? So you could have 15 minutes to prepare your notes. You could have 30 minutes. You could also have a buffer time set up between two meetings. How long a buffer time do you need? Is 15 minutes good enough? You want it to be 30 minutes, 1 hour? You can define that. And what is the increment of increase that you want to show it in? You want in 10 minutes increment so that a person can book 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or 30 minutes and 45 minutes. So you can again define everything else here. And lastly, we come to the point which is called the form questions. Now in the free version, we only get 3 fields available to us: first name, last name, and email. We can't change any contact properties. Now pre-populate fields with known values. This will only work if you sent out an email to a database and somebody liked what they read and they want to book a meeting with you. If they press the meeting link from within that email and come here, HubSpot has already got all that information. So it will pre-populate the fields with a known value. And then it'll ask you that, do you want to add a consent checkbox for your GDPR? Depending upon your market, you could press yes or no. You can then preview it and see how it looks. So this is how your GDPR box is going to look like. Once done, you can go ahead and exit it. Then you can go back to the meetings. Lastly, you have to just set up a meeting link. Come here, check your meeting link. What do you want? I have already set up mine, so my meeting link has already been used. But you would be presented with an option to set up your meeting link here, and then you can configure it. So guys, this gives you a personalized meeting link. And again, people usually have a paid service do this. You can do it for free. And when somebody presses it, this is how your meeting link is going to look like. So everything that I had done here has already come in here. Request a meeting with Vishal Mehra. How long do you need? So I changed it from 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. So that's what it will give you. What time works best for you? If somebody presses in 10:30, they need to fill in the first name, last name, and email address. And the minute they press next, the next 1 hour 30 minutes from this time are automatically blocked in the calendar. So it's a great tool to use. If you use something like online meetings, this is brilliant for you to use. So these are the 4 things that we get in the sales pack. Now, service tickets. Remember, we checked the box that create a ticket from an incoming email. So this kind of becomes the tracker where any issue that any of your client has had, any email that has got a ticket raised would be available here. Once again, when you come to this pipeline, you can edit every single stage. How do you want to define it so that you know whether the answer has been sent, the resolution has been achieved, and the client is happy. So that's what the service desk does. Lastly, we have 2 more fields here. Sequence automation doesn't work for us because these are paid features. Then we have the reports, which has got analytics, dashboard, and further reporting. So analytic tools. Now, analytic tools is basically when you come here and press the prospects. Once the tracking code has been established or has been installed on your website, anybody who comes on your website, the IP address of that will automatically be captured. Now, this is not a very detailed tracking you get, but you would know where your traffic is coming from. You'll get pretty decent overview of where your traffic is coming from. That's what you can do with an analytics tool. Then is your dashboard. How do you want your look and feel of the software? So you can start adding your dashboards here to know how your lead generation is working, how your sales is working, how your marketing is working. All that can be configured here. And lastly, we have a section called reports. Now, if in your business you have a lot of reporting that needs to be done, then you can come here and pull up from the report library. What kind of reporting do you want? What is it that you want a report on? How many leads came in? What kind of conversations were taking place? How many meetings were booked? What kind of revenue was achieved? So using deals. Now, in most of the cases, deals would always be a part of your reporting because this tells you how your sales team is performing. That is what you can do here. Now, before we end this, I just wanted to give you an overview of the marketplace as well. And that is what makes, once again, HubSpot such a great tool. Despite the fact that it is a free tool, you have access to a complete marketplace. And in this marketplace, you can go ahead, see what are the tools they have available, which tools will integrate with your company, and how these tools can further enhance and make your life easier. If you have no budgets to spend and you just want to see what are the free tools, they'll give you plenty of free tools here. You can connect your LinkedIn, you can connect your Google Search Console. So when we set it up for a client, the free tools that we always use, of course, we have migrated most of our clients to Gmail. So Gmail, HubSpot, Google Calendar, Zapier. This is another interesting video that I've made on automation, and that is where we talk about Zapier. Facebook ads, Mailchimp. Mailchimp is a great email marketing tool which is available for free for 2,000 customers and 12,000 email sends. So if you were looking for an alternate to HubSpot and wanted to start somewhere, Mailchimp would be a great tool. So these are all the tools that are available for free. And the other tool that we always set up is Google Search Console. You can choose what you want to set up and come to the marketplace and find the tools that you need here. So guys, that's what HubSpot can do for you. As I said, it's a free tool. It doesn't cost you anything till you start growing up and you're ready to invest. And then also you can invest in increments of $50. That's the bare minimum that they charge you for upgrading from basic to starter plans, whether in marketing or sales. It's a great tool to use, and if you're not using a CRM, do give it a try. I hope you liked the video. I hope it provided some information to you which was valuable. If we did provide some value, a subscribe, a like would be most appreciated. If there is any other topic on automation or marketing that you need help on, drop in a comment and we'll be happy to create a video on that and share it with you. Thank you for your time. This is Vishal Mehra signing off. Till the next video. Bye-bye.